Hi there, I'm Helen of Wright Fine Violins, and today we've got three very special Aberdonian violins to share with you. The first is by John Young. It was made in 1859. John Young famously took over the premises of Cramond when he emigrated, and he worked in the centre of Aberdeen for more than 30 years. Young's really interesting because he exists in this sort of transition period between the earlier Aberdonian makers who were making that kind of often purplish varnish like Ruddiman, personal models built on sort of slightly Stainer-esque but with lots of Aberdonian characteristics too. And the later makers like Marshall, who of course have a lot more in common with makers from anywhere else all around the world. So Young's violin, here it is, very cool, has his brand on the back. The second violin is really cool. It was made in 1877 by William Rankine, who was a master gardener as well as a violin maker. And he was making in Turriff, which is in Aberdeenshire and about 30 miles from Aberdeen itself. Rankine is very much making on that model I was talking about, the kind of personal, interesting model that harks back to the earlier Aberdonian makers. Perhaps you can see here the fluted scroll. I really like this violin. It's bold and characterful. It's got a big personality. The third and final violin in the video is much more modern all round, really. It was made in 1936 by Alex Strachan. Strachan was a pupil of Marshall, who we mentioned earlier. The violin is very much now in that kind of vein of global influence on violin making, and Strachan, who worked with Marshall on the repair of very fine Italian instruments, had a real sense of what was going on in making, both historically and in the world around him. So this violin is much more modern, still with a hint of Aberdonian making in places like this fluted scroll, but very much more a confident, modern European instrument.